And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sarah DeVello, and I am so excited to be broadcasting live from an undisclosed location, heading to the beach to host this very special pre-launch Q&A with three of the incredible authors from the Twisted Women's Book Club. We have Caroline Kepnes, Alison Gaylin, and Stacy Willingham here to give us the inside scoop on this audiobook out tomorrow, and we're going to give away 2 copies. So let's dive in. If you've been with me before, you know the drill. Get your questions going in the comments, and I will get them right over to these 3 killer authors. So let's kick off with you, Killer Caroline. Where were you when you got the assignment, and how did you start this crazy process?
I was here in Los Angeles and feel like, no, I must have made this up because I'm from Cape Cod. I've had many great days and nights at the Beachcomber, and it's the combination of factors that came together. Like, no, did I dream this? Am I hungover? But no, it was real. So my process, I was so excited that I did the excitement vomit draft, and then I got into it later. Not a word of that is in the real story I wrote.
Ooh, and what about you, Killer Allison? Were you so excited that you did the vomit draft and then you got down to business, or what was it like when you got the killer assignment?
Well, I always do a vomit draft. I think it's really important, or else I would never write anything at all. I was in my home too of Woodstock, New York, but I was excited too because I love Cape Cod. I love Massachusetts. I write another series that's set in Massachusetts. So it was an exciting assignment and a lot of fun. But yeah, I couldn't wait. Book club, Cape Cod, murder. What more could you ask for?
What more indeed? All of my favorite things. What about you, Killer Stacy? Where were you when you got this assignment, and how did you start the process?
Yes, so I was in my house in Charleston, South Carolina, in the middle of writing my 4th book. And I was at a period in that book where I had horrible writer's block and I had absolutely no idea where to go with it. So I jumped right in because it was just an excuse to stop the thing I was doing that was so painful and do something completely different. I also wrote a vomit draft, but it came together pretty quickly, I think, because I needed the distraction. So it was fun.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so excited. And thank you for sharing that you have had writer's block, because I do too. And I never know what to do. Mm-hmm. So Caroline, how do you handle, do you ever get writer's block? And if so, how do you handle it?
Oh yeah. I'm like, does anyone never get it? Is there anyone out there who's never had it? I like either doing the opposite of writing, or that thing where you get assigned to do something else or you want to do something else and going with that. Mm-hmm. I think I'm starting to realize, 2 things at once is the best.
Ooh, I like that. What about you, Allison? Do you get writer's block, and how do you deal with it?
Oh, I get writer's block fairly often. And I think the best thing is to just get away from the computer for a little while, whether it's going out for a walk, even just taking a shower, something to just kind of change your perspective a little bit. That helps me to a degree. But yes, I get writer's block quite a bit.
Oh my God. I'm so glad we're having this very honest conversation, because usually sitting at the computer feeling like a loser. So
same.
Oh my gosh. Killer Caroline, tell us about your part of this killer collaboration. What happens in your section, and give us the inside scoop on that.
I went into author mode. The first draft I wrote was a little to me, it was a real vomit draft where I didn't know what I was doing, and doing it, I figured out, I know what I want to do. I want to get into the narcissism that happens when you get invited to a book club that can happen, I should say, that this girl kind of knows really, is this really happening? And then I just went with that. What if it wasn't, when things aren't what you think, or you want them too bad and you feel like you've been too loud with the universe about what you want. So you're manifesting something in the bad way. It's like dark manifestation.
Ooh, dark manifestation. Oh my God. Okay. These are all of my favorite things. Allison, what about you? How did you approach your section of the Twisted Women's Book Club?
Well, I wanted to write about somebody who thinks their life is so completely boring that being asked to be in a book club by this famous psychiatrist would be the most incredible thing in the world to happen to them. But her life is nowhere near as boring as she knows it to be, because her family has a lot of secrets that she discovers on the way to the book club, and it becomes very violent very quickly. So I had a lot of fun with it. I liked writing this character that really thinks she sees the world in a very specific way, and her life is very mundane, but it's not.
But it's not. Dun dun dun. What about you, Stacy? How did you approach your section of the Twisted Women's Book Club?
Yeah, so I was trying to think of a character who would be someone other than an attendee, and so I landed on the daughter of one of the book club members. She's a girl named Blair, and she is kind of in a rebellious streak. She's been getting in a lot of trouble at school for doing a variety of things. And the day of the book club meeting, she actually gets suspended. So her mom has to pick her up from the principal's office, and she's humiliated, she's angry, and she's like, you know what, I am not missing my book club. So as your punishment, you're coming with me. And Blair is, of course, sulking and upset. And then her chapter, my chapter that I wrote, is kind of about this teenage girl who's in this huge house with all of these women hosting a book club, and what happens and what does she discover while she's kind of poking around.
That was a really fun approach. I liked that you took the daughter of one of the members. And Caroline, I had to laugh out loud when you said very florals for spring, groundbreaking. I love me a Devil Wears Prada Miranda Priestley throwback. And of course, Cape Cod is so that I don't have any Lily Pulitzer, but I was trying to find the most Lily Pulitzer thing that I had. Oh, Renee says, Sarah, I love your hat. Thank you, Renee. I'm heading to the beach after this at Dr. Margaret Richter's house. We'll see if I survive. I probably won't. Renee is joining us from Southeast Florida. So fun. So we had some people submit questions in advance, and Amanda wants to know, are any of you in a book club? Caroline, we'll kick off with you.
I am not.
Okay, Alison, have you ever been, Caroline?
No, not like a consistent one. I've been in writers groups though, but not a book club. Now I'm only realizing that now. I've been like as an author of book clubs, but yeah.
Ooh, Alison, what about you? Have you ever been in a book club? Are you in one now?
I'm not in one now. I haven't been in one for years, but a long time ago when I was first starting to write, I formed a book club with a couple of other writers where we read nothing but really bad books in order to give ourselves confidence.
Oh my God.
I love that.
Yeah, like the worst books we could find. And so we think, hey, maybe I can do that. So yeah, that was the one book club I've been in.
Oh my God. So it was a contest of how bad of a book you could pick?
Yeah, exactly. We would just go out and just try to find, we'd read a few pages and think, okay, this one.
I'm sorry, were they newer books or older books, or were you all over the place?
Kind of all over the place. A lot of really bad erotica.
Did it turn out that anyone's like, oh, I know her?
No, it didn't turn out to be anybody that we knew. We were all none of us had been published yet. We were all just trying to, get up the confidence to write books. And so that sort of helped.
Oh my God, I love that. Yes, because there is, especially when you're starting out, and frankly, even now, there's a lot of intimidation where you're like, everyone's better than me. There's
a lot of imposter syndrome. I think that happens even no matter how many times you're actually published. It's sort of like, there's got to be some mistake. So.
Thank you for saying that. Stacy, what about you? Are you or have you ever been in a book club?
Yeah, I've been in quite a few book clubs throughout my life. I loved them. I don't have the time right now to be in a book club. I just feel like I would never, with writing and reading and blurbing, and I just would never have time to read the book. But my friends from college and I actually have a virtual book club. None of us live in the same place. And every now and then we'll pick up the same book and then chat about it over Zoom or something. So that's kind of our, we don't meet on a regular basis, but we do it here and there.
I love that. And oh my gosh, I see Lynn Constantine just joined us in the chat. Hi, Lynn. Half, of course, Liv Constantine. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, let's get back to this Twisted Women's Book Club. So, Caroline, when you were trying to embrace the vibe of Cape Cod, aside from florals for spring, groundbreaking, what did you do to really try to immerse the readers in the culture, the community, and the, how should we say, fun aspects of Cape Cod?
I feel like my story starts on the beach because it was like, when we look at pictures of things and they always look so comfortable, I'm like, walking in sand when you're wearing the wrong thing and you're like sickly can be the worst thing in the world. And when the sun is hot, I just got into the humidity, the feeling of awfulness, and the ocean state job. A lot of I don't know, I went to like the things that you don't think of because it was like, oh, these are iconic Cape Cod things, like a house, a mansion on the beach, and the beachcomber for me, which was just like, I hear Wellfleet, I go beachcomber. So then I wanted to go to the dark side of things and the uncomfortable side, and
yes,
the roads that can be a little scary to walk on.
Right. Exactly.
And I also took it off Cape. I kept going to New York. I remember right away being like, oh yeah, I'm going to it's not just going to be here.
Well, I was wondering as I was listening to your section if we were going to also go to LA. And so I was very curious to see what our native Cape Codder would do. And I love
and in the water. Yeah.
Alison,
yeah, that's what I'm like, how long till we get in the water? Yeah.
How long till we get in the water? And exactly. I don't exactly. Alison, what about you? What was important to you also writing another series that you wanted to really bring forth to immerse people in the setting of Cape Cod?
Well, my entire story takes place on the drive to the book club. They never really make it there because of the mayhem that ensues. So I was very interested in sort of the winding roads around there, the scrub, just as it's starting to get dark, how easy it is to get lost. As Caroline was saying, how uncomfortable it can be when you're, sort of not wearing the right thing and you're trapped outside of your car. So I was sort of wandering through the wilderness in mind, which I was. When I first wrote it, I was thinking, well, maybe they'll make it to the book club eventually, but they didn't. So,
but they didn't.
No, but they didn't.
Stacy, what about you? What was important to you to try to really immerse people in this setting?
Yeah, so I have only been to Cape Cod once, but I do live on the beach here in Charleston, or near the beach. But they're very different beaches. The Charleston beach and the Cape Cod beach are different. So I did a little bit of that. I focused on kind of the dunes and the reeds and the salt air, the very classic Cape Cod houses. But because I knew Dr. Margaret Richter's house was kind of the most ornate, beautiful mansion in all of Cape Cod, I focused on the interior of the house. So things when you go to a book club, there's always a spread, there's a charcuterie board and things like that. But Dr. Margaret Richter's spread is like that on steroids. She has the best of the best food in her house, and she has, a grand staircase and an office filled with books. And so I tried to kind of incorporate that wealthy little corner of Cape Cod through the interior of her house.
I love that. And I've actually never been to the beaches of South Carolina. I only know the beaches of Cape Cod. So I was interested when you said that they are different aside from the chilly temps.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. It's just the sand feels different. The water looks different. It's very, very hot and humid and muggy here. Whereas depending on where, when you go up in Cape Cod, it can be, a little chillier. And I think I have a scene too where someone's wearing a sweater on the beach because it's kind of chilly with the wind whipping, and that rarely happens down here. So
that is fair enough. Robin is joining us. She says, so happy I saw this notification. I am wearing a springish top, pink and white seersucker. Oh, that's very Cape, Robin, very Cape Cod. Those still long sleeves, 57 degrees in sunny Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Well, thank you for joining us from sunny Coeur d'Alene in your pink and white seersucker. That sounds very Cape Cod-y to me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. We're going to get to all of these comments. Don't you worry. Renee says, Alison, I love the Robert Parker books that you've written and your own novels. Yay.
Oh, thank you.
So let me ask you this. When did you guys get to hear each other's sections, or you haven't yet?
No, we haven't. I mean, I don't know if you guys read it, but I read the excerpt from the Twisted book that Karen Slaughter wrote that I think we all got at the beginning. And then I wanted to read whoever wrote about the doctor herself, because I wanted to incorporate who the doctor really is. So, but that was neither of yours. So that was it.
That was KJ.
I can't wait to hear them. I'm so excited.
And narrators are really good. So the clips have been fantastic, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've listened to the snippets. So I have an idea of what what everyone's chapter is, but I haven't listened to it beginning to end to see how they all flow together.
So I was tasked with the very fun job of reading the entire thing, and then I got to pick the snippets, which was so fun. I'm the snippet picker. That's
you pick the snippets.
I'm the chief snippet picker.
You're a good picker.
Develop, chief snippet picker. So it was really fun to pick your snippets, and I was like, oh my gosh, I only get to pick one that is 30 to 60 seconds, and I have to say it was the most fun part of my job to get to do that. And tomorrow for our launch we're going to hear a little snippet from each of you, which are different than the voices that read your section. And we had Steve submit a question, and he wants to know, did you get to pick those voices? Caroline, over to you first.
No, I don't think so. Right. There have been a few things about, no. But
So you hadn't heard your voices until the snippets?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, this is so fun. What did you think?
I feel like I have the best luck with audiobooks, like Santino Fontana, who does my U-book, like, it's just phenomenal. And so, it was love at first listen. Like, I heard her, I'm like, I love when they just really get into it, when they're listening,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like when you can tell that they read it a lot and like really took it in and decided what to do with it. So and I hear that in all the snippets.
Oh my God, I love that. Randy is joining us from YouTube saying, Sarah, on a Wednesday, we hit the lottery. Oh my gosh, Randy, you are too kind. This is one of my mavens. Hi, Randy, and your cute little black cat. Thank you so much. Robin says, wait a minute. So is this an anthology with a springboard idea? Who wants to explain this crazy idea?
Well, we were all told pretty much the basics of it, which was that it takes place in a book club, and that we could write about and then we have to incorporate the book club. It has to take place the night of the book club, right? And then we were told a little bit about Dr. Richter, who is the head of the book club, and that it takes place in Cape Cod, but I can't really remember anything else. Was there anything else that was told to us?
From my memory, that was about it. It was pretty broad. And we were told it didn't have to be a member. It just had to be someone connected to the book club. It could be before, during, after. And we each got our own chapter, and we don't know anything about anyone else's chapters. And then whoever was in charge of knitting all those chapters together, I'm very impressed.
Right.
Did anyone have to die? Was that a rule or no?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. I'm not sure if that was a rule.
I don't think they said anything. I mean, I don't just
there was no point, nothing you had to hit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, there wasn't. It was really pretty free, actually, which was fun.
Yeah.
You know, what you said, and then I'm like, oh, I feel extra fucked up for mine. Yeah.
I think we all just went there.
Oh my God, I love that. Yes, the authors have not heard their own voices, their readers, professional readers. Yes. Oh, thank you. Robin says, I love you, Sarah. The snippet picker. That's my new title. I'm going to get a t-shirt. I'm the head snippet picker. Oh my God. That is perfect. You guys, the book is not even out yet. The exclusive Audible only drops tomorrow. And these three fabulous authors are dropping in to give us the inside scoop on how this all came together. And we are giving away 2 copies that will be available at midnight PT, which is 3 a.m. ET. and you can enter to win just by dropping a comment or a question. And then sometimes people get really shy, and that's okay. So you can just say whether you're a beach person or a mountain person. I get shy too. So you can say beach or mountains, hashtag team beach, hashtag team mountains. We won't discriminate, even though this does take place at the beach. So just drop a question for these authors or your team beach, team mountain to be entered to win one of 2 copies of this book. And it's going to be so incredibly cool because you get to hear from Alison, you get to hear from Stacy, you get to hear from Caroline, as well as Karen Slaughter, Lee Child, B.A. Paris. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Talk about Oyenkin Braithwaite, talk about star-studded. So I'm very, very excited to share this with you guys. Now, what was the word? The word count wasn't that long, right? Was it 10,000 words?
Was it even that long? Was it? I feel like it was between 5 and 10.
Somewhere between 5 and 10, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Did you? I've never written a short story before, so let's start with you, Caroline. Had you written a short story? Did you find it? Were you like, oh, this is easier because it's shorter, or like, what was that saying that Mark Twain said? I didn't have a time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a longer letter. So it's because it's actually hard to write really concise. Mm-hmm. How did you find that challenge?
I love short stories for that reason. I love that feeling, like, when you're in a scene in a book and you're like, oh, I can just do 20 pages of them sitting around. And a story, it's like, there's no way, like, you especially have to have that momentum. And I love short story endings. And that was the most fun writing part of mine, where I changed the ending because I realized, oh, right. Like, I remember talking to Joe, like, this is audible. We're going to be listening to this. And that kind of got me going of like, ooh, like, like how you write differently when that's the primary, like, to me, like, medium for the story. So.
Yeah. What about you, Alison? Had you ever written a short story before? Was this invigorating, terrifying, somewhere in between?
I love writing short stories. I've written a lot of them. And, Caroline, it's a really good point. Like, there's something freeing in the restriction of a short story too. I feel like because you're not spending that much time with these characters, you can just go places. You can go to really dark places that you maybe aren't going to, although these guys have, gone dark places in their novels, but really dark places that you wouldn't even go to in a novel, because you just have this limited amount of space and you can really you can go there. So I think it's really fun. And there's just something, especially if you're in the midst of writing a novel, with the kind of quick gratification that you can get from a short story. That's really kind of keeps you going. It kind of makes you remember why you like writing.
Ooh, what about you?
So well said.
Yeah, I've also written quite a few short stories, but it's been a while. And I don't think I've had any. Well, I haven't had any published recently. I've had a few in magazines here and there years and years ago. But yeah, it had been a while since I got to do that. And like Caroline and Alison said, it's difficult because you want to make sure you have character development, and these characters are, well-rounded, multifaceted people, but you only have so much time. And so every action matters, every piece of dialogue matters. This was also the first time I've ever published anything in third person. All of my books are in first person. So that was a fun challenge as well, trying to figure out how to not only write a super condensed story, but write it in third person, which was fairly new for me.
Did they ask you to write it in third person, or you just wanted to give yourself that challenge?
I think I just wanted the challenge. I mean, like I said, I was in the middle of writing one of my novels, which was in first person. And part of me, I think, needed a little bit of separation from the stories. I couldn't have too many, first person narrators in my head. But I think I just wanted to try it out. And I thought it, might work with all the different characters we had going on in the audiobook.
Oh, I like that. Ruth Church just joined us in the audience from Team Thriller Fest. Hi, Ruth. Welcome to the conversation. Renee, I have never written a short story, and now I'm feeling like, my God, do I live under a rock? What have I been doing while these 3 fabulous authors are just writing all these short stories? And part of me is like, I'm an Italian woman. I want a full meal, not an appetizer. I think I'm just really actually scared and intimidated.
A good short story is a full meal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're going to do it.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm scared, but okay, I'm going to do it. You guys are inspiring me. And I'm also really excited. In addition to being head snippet picker, I also am planning the Twisted Women pop-up at Thriller Fest. So we are going to have all sorts of things, like all sorts of fun things like Cape Cod chips, beach pop-ups. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have beach chairs and sand. I'm bringing my little sand bucket. We are going to have a photo station, Cape Codders, which is, a red drink with cranberry and vodka and soda. It's going to be so fun. So I've really been immersing myself in the Twisted Women's Book Club as well. So I'm so excited to keep the twisted action coming. So yeah, okay, let's get back into the questions. Okay, so let's talk about this Dr. Margaret Richter. So we know that she is a self-help author turned millionaire off the profit of those. And I think we've seen so many self-help gurus come crashing down in the real world. How was that? Did you have someone very specifically in mind for this Madcap Book Club maven, or tell us about your relationship with that, Caroline?
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. Right. Like, it's such a juicy character to jump into. My first thing was this woman is not a doctor. Like, this woman sort of self-declared like doctor. And then it just all came from there. And I loved it. And I kind of admire that kind of chutzpah of someone who does that and like is very successful with it. But I also liked finding the side of her that has this almost like not guilt, but like self-awareness and frustration with not feeling authentic, and what it must feel like to be the source of advice and yet be kind of like full of anger and problems, and all of which are involve her best friend, and like letting that, like the awful thing of like when there's one person who really knows you, who looks at you and is like, oh, but I know who you are and I know what you don't know. And yeah.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Because exactly, as soon as they said a self-help guru, I was like, oh my God, I hate it. Like, Alison, what about you? Tell us about your relationship or envisioning of Dr. Margaret Richter.
Well, I wrote a character that is, like I was saying, she's a school teacher, and she's very, normal, and she is loves to read, and she's very starstruck by the self-help guru. So it's interesting when you write that from a specific point of view, because you're writing from that point of view, but you're also seeing outside of that point of view to realize, this woman is not, the greatest, she's not everything that she pretends to be, but the character doesn't know that. So I actually, Dr. Richter doesn't appear in my story, but there is a revelation towards the end that I don't really want to give away about her that kind of comes into play with my characters. So, it's more the idea of her, I think, that kind of plays throughout the story. The kind of, the sort of worship that somebody might have for someone like that if they're not as savvy as we all are. So,
which is how those people get away with sometimes creating these.
Yeah, these personas, and you see them on TV, and they seem like they have it all together, but they really don't at all.
Exactly. Stacy, what about you and your relationship with Dr. Margaret Richter?
Yeah, so I didn't have anyone specific in mind, but I kind of like you two, I imagined someone a little eclectic. She kind of almost speaks in like fortune cookie snippets again. And she has all these little sayings that sound so wise on the surface, but maybe they're a little cliche and empty. But it was also interesting because since my main character is a teenage girl, she really looks up to Dr. Richter because she maybe can't quite see past the facade. She's an older, very successful woman. She's also very good friends with this girl's mom. And so she grew up with her, and she's kind of been this presence in her life that she respects. And so, so that was fun, kind of getting Blair to kind of look at her house and her life and her books and just think, this woman really has it together. She knows everything. But of course, she doesn't have it all together. She doesn't know everything because nobody ever does.
Exactly. From your own careers, incredible careers as writers, Caroline, what have you learned is the secret to keeping those pages flying, a reader up late, hooked, mesmerized? Tell us your secrets.
I think I allow myself to know when I'm not writing the book, and be like, today, like none of this is in there, but I'm on the road somewhere. Because to me, when it is the book, then it's like, oh, okay, I care. Like, I don't know what happens next. I feel like I don't want to walk away. And you know, when you have a draft and you can go through and remember, oh, I remember writing this part vaguely or how I felt. And I think the more you write, the more you're like, oh, they're like all the bad writing leads to the good writing. And like, to me, like, that's what I've learned more than anything. And there's probably a more effective, like efficient way to do it. But when you do that bad writing, it's kind of like what Alison said about the bad book club. Like, you know, that good writing.
I love that.
And I'm like, if I don't care, no one else is going to care. I have to care. Like in the most microscopic way about like, oh, if I don't you can't fool yourself, you know?
Exactly. Oh, we have a question. Allison's character is a school teacher. Stacy's character is a school girl. Thank you for your careful listening, Renee.
I thought that was like, how do you identify school girl or school teacher?
Oh my God, I love it. Allison, what about you? What have you learned from your incredible writing career about the secret to hooking readers, keeping those pages flying, keeping us engaged?
Well, I'm going to sort of basically repeat what Caroline said, because I write terrible first drafts, like the worst first drafts. They're just awful. And I feel bad for my agent and editor because they have to read them because they're so bad. But in getting that draft out, that almost, I don't outline, you know, that is almost like the springboard that I can work off of. And when you get that out and you realize, you know, it's so much easier to improve something than it is to sort of create it out of whole cloth. So you get that bad draft out there, and then you can work with things like pacing and changing things and you know, switching things around and allowing yourself that freedom to really rewrite. So to me, like I think the secret to, you know, writing something compelling is rewriting.
Ooh. I feel like that's a tweetable right there. that's a snippet. Snippet picker. That's a snippet I would post. I love that. Lucy, what about you? What have you learned from your incredible career?
Yeah, similar. I also write terrible first drafts. I think it's just a part of the process for all of us. Doesn't make it any easier. Every single first draft I write, I'm like, oh God, this is the worst thing I've ever written. And then eventually, you know, it gets there. But when I have writer's block, which is often, or when I'm writing, I also don't outline. And so if I'm writing a draft and I don't quite know where it's going, that's where a lot of my descriptions come in. I just write very, very lengthy descriptions of the characters and where they are and their surroundings. And then when I go back and edit, I am ruthless with cutting. It's painful, but I mean, many, many times I have cut the best paragraph I think I wrote in the whole book. I'm like, I love that paragraph, but it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter for the book. And I actually keep like a little scraps document where I don't delete anything. I put it all in a separate document. So something I wrote in my second book that didn't fit made its way into my fourth book and it did fit, you know, so I don't ever get rid of anything. And then that gives me kind of the freedom to just like slash and slash and slash and make it faster. I also try to end every chapter on kind of like a little mini cliffhanger to try and get them just one more.
Oh, I love that. Leslie is joining us from Canada saying hello. That's her Canadian hello in my mind. From Canada. So excited. Oh, Leslie, we're so excited too. Caroline, do you outline or no?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I throw it all away. Like I'm like controlling with it where if I have one good day and I write 2 chapters, I will go on the phone in the calendar. I love the apps, the notepad app, the calendar. And I'll be like, tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, like start 3, 4, 3, 4, and 4, 5, and then just throw it all away in a week, like do that schedule. But I like order. I feel like it's like finding order in chaos and especially like someone early on. And I feel like it's in all the writing books and everything, but that you stop when it's going well, not when you're stuck. So that you like, let's say, I know what happens next. This is good. Like, okay, now I'm going to pull myself away. And I agree, like, in so much, and it's kind of like the cliff thing, Stacy, what you said at the end of the chapter. To me, those are 2 like really important things.
Ooh.
If you stop anything when it's good, it's just better than, yeah.
But what if you're sitting there and it's not getting good? You just keep sitting there until it gets good?
Sometimes. Well, they have this wonderful thing called television where you can just binge all this TV, do nothing.
I just finished watching Netflix, The Residence. I loved it. It's like, if you loved playing Clue growing up, and who didn't? It's so fun. Oh my goodness. Okay, we are out of time. Time flies when you are having this much fun. So I just want to remind you all that the book is out tomorrow, and Stacy, Caroline, and Allison are coming on to give us this exclusive sneak peek into the world of Wellfleet, Cape Cod, Dr. Margaret Richter, and all things Twisted Women. You can pre-order your copy tonight. I'm going to pop the link up one more time. And it will pop onto your devices at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. I may still be up waiting and listening. So here again is that link. And again, 2 lucky winners are going to win copies just by commenting below. So if you've been a shy listener, that's totally okay. But do get your comment in because we appreciate you spending time with us. So just comment Team Beach or Team Mountains or Twisted Women or whatever you like, just so that we know you were here. And thank you for sharing. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. And thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you so much. And thank you for being part of Twisted Women's Book Club. I cannot wait until everyone immerses themselves in this twisted, murderous mayhem world of Wellfleet. Yay. All right, y'all, stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.